So this time last year when Chai was doing the fundraiser, we watched the numbers going up and, couldn't help but get obsessive about watching it getting closer to the target. So the Chai fundraiser was while I was in post bone marrow transplant. I went for just a routine optician's appointment and the optician saw some hemorrhaging in the back of my eyes. So I left it for a while and then eventually went and had a blood test. And they told us that they expected that I'd been diagnosed with a chronic leukemia, chronic myeloid leukemia, which obviously was a massive shock. As it happens, it's sort of considered a good type of cancer because it's very manageable.
We were just getting to a point where we were going to start telling people, and unexpectedly I then went into labour. We ended up back in hospital together, and our son was born at 29 weeks, which was 11 days after we'd had Richard's diagnosis confirmed. We were told Richard had the good leukemia. We were quite positive because we had the leukemia that was controllable and everything was going to be good, and we got back to life, sort of a normal life.
Towards the end of June, so this is June 2020, I just had a weekend where, I think it was a Thursday or Friday, I was just starting to just not feel very well. So I went to A&E where I got checked out. Obviously because it was COVID, it was no visitors, no one was allowed in. I ended up being told by a haematology doctor that basically the chronic leukemia had gone through what they call a blast crisis, and essentially had become an acute leukemia, acute lymphoblastic leukemia, which is much more aggressive and much more involved to treat than a tablet a day. It was so much to take in.
Our world fell apart.
Yeah, it did.
A cancer diagnosis is a really scary and lonely place for both the person with cancer but family and friends. And especially as everyone was finding lockdown hard and rule of 6, well, if I could have had a rule of 1, it would have been enough for us. So, if we'd only had COVID to deal with last year, life would have felt easier. I still can't quite believe we're on the receiving end of high support. It's not a place we ever expected to be at, 3 years married and, in our 30s. But the support that we've both been offered has just been incredible from the last 18 months.
Chai's support and our access to Chai services and to physio counselling, not just as something that's when we're right in the thick of it, but as we hopefully come out the other side, really helps us, I guess, to make sense of some of the things that have happened.
And just knowing that Chai are there with us is just a huge source of support, and it doesn't feel as lonely a place as it could have done and could be. I remember taking photos of every night of Hanukkah thinking, will we get this again? And here we are a year later, and we get to do Hanukkah again. So, Richard looks very different than he did this time last year. But yeah, the timing's pretty poignant, I think, for us.
Absolutely. We are incredibly fortunate that Chai is here, and it makes a huge difference.